Welcome to the presentation on interview tips and preparation. How to prepare for that upcoming interview. This module focuses on how to effectively prepare for an upcoming interview. These tips can be beneficial to your preparations for any type of interview, whether it's an internship, a part-time job, a co-op, a full-time job, or even graduate or professional school. The learning objectives for this presentation include understanding the interview process for professional opportunities such as professional graduate programs, internships, or full-time jobs, learning about different interview questions and methods to implement when responding to the questions, and preparing for various modalities of the interview process, and learning how to prepare before, during, and after the interview. Let's take a minute for self-reflection. How confident do you feel with your interviewing skills? Think about some of your previous interview experiences. What went well? What did not go well? What kinds of questions were you asked? What did you answer? What are some things you could do to improve? What are some of the fears you have regarding interviewing? Do you get nervous? Do you worry about what to say? Do you understand what you might be asked? How long it might take, what's expected of you? What are some of the interview questions that have been most challenging for you to answer in the past? This is a good place for us to start to think about how we can improve. It can be very exciting and possibly a bit nerve-wracking when you're invited to an interview by an employer. You can be excited because it's potentially one step closer to landing the opportunity you want, and for you to have a chance to learn more about the role and the company or organization in general. It can also be nerve-wracking because there are a lot of uncertainties. What is the interviewer going to ask me? What should I ask them? What should I share about myself? What should I not share about myself? All things we'll elaborate on in this presentation. An interview is an opportunity for both the employer to learn about you and your professional background, but it's also an opportunity for you to know more about the organization and see if it's a good fit for you and your values. When you're invited for an interview, there's a few things the employer wants to know about you. One is self-awareness, which can be defined as the conscious knowledge of your own character, feelings, motives, and desires. How self-aware are you? Are you aware of your strengths and areas of improvement? The second is skills and experiences. What are some of your skills and experiences that are relevant to the role you're interviewing for? What are some of the skills and experiences that are transferable from one experience to another? How did you learn, develop, and apply those skills in your past and current experiences? Employers also are looking at stress management. That's the tools, strategies, or techniques that reduce stress and the negative impact stress has on your mental or physical well-being. Think about the times where you've been stressed or overwhelmed. How did you manage it? What are some of your healthy tools and strategies or techniques? An interview can definitely be a stressful situation, so you want to be prepared for that. Employers also want to know about the knowledge you have about the field, the company, or the industry. They'll see, what do you know about your desired career field? They'll ask you, what are some of the recent trends in the field or the industry? What are some of the economic impacts? How does the global economy influence this industry? What do you know about the company itself, the organizational chart, their clients, their products, their operations, their initiatives, their challenges, their mission, their values? Employers are also going to look towards your attitudes towards growth and self-improvement. Are you committed to self-growth and self-improvement? What are some of the ways you've shown that commitment in your past experiences or your current experiences? Think about areas in your life, whether it's personal, professional, or academic, where you've seen growth and self-improvement, and you need to be able to talk about that in an interview. Employers want to see if you're a good fit for the position and their company culture. Often employers are not just looking for the brightest or most experienced candidate. They also want to find candidates that can fit in well with their culture and their values. What will you bring to the team? In addition to your resume and your professional background, what are some of the other factors you'll bring to the team? Those personal traits, characteristics, attributes, power skills that add value. To prepare for the interview, there's several specific steps you can take. First, you need to find out what's the interview modality. Will it be over video conference, over the phone, or in person? Look at the job description, print out a copy. Make sure you can look at the qualifications, skills, and criteria needed for the position. Research the company, their values, their goals, and their mission. Brainstorm about your own strengths and areas of improvement. Think about how your strengths and skills and experiences relate to the position. One of the best things you can do to prepare for an interview is practice. So you can rehearse with a friend or a mentor or even a career coach from the Center for Career and Professional Development. There are different interview styles that companies will use when they interview their candidates. And there's different types of questions they'll use to assess your skills, your personality, and your qualifications. If you understand these various styles and the questions, it can help you in your preparation. Behavioral-based questions is a style of interviewing that tests your ability to reflect and activate critical thinking skills. These questions focus on how you have handled various work situations in the past, and what you share and reveal will tell the employer about your skills, abilities, and knowledge. Try to focus on how you handle various situations in the past that's relevant to the question. This is a great thing to do to prepare, is to start to think about practice questions for behavioral based and think about different situations or scenarios you've been in. What happened? Why? What was your role and what was the result? Try to focus on experiences that are relevant to the position or the role that you're applying for. And you always want to be specific and results oriented when you talk about these experiences. Personality-based questions are questions that try to assess your ability to reflect on and articulate about yourself, your career goals, and your purpose. So this is how you share your self-awareness, your positive attitude toward growth and development, and ultimately your competency in the concept of career management. So when you're asked these kinds of questions in this personality-based type of interview, try to focus on speaking about yourself, your self-awareness, your self-confidence, and your commitment to growth. Be authentic, be simple, and genuine. Skill-based questions is very technical, and it's used to test your ability, your knowledge, or your proficiency in skills that are required in the role, such as technical skills, software skills, programming skills, coding skills. In this style of interviewing, they'll try to assess your previous experiences and application of those skills in a realistic situation. So when you prepare for this type of interview, be sure to understand what the technical skills are that are required for the role, and be prepared to share about your knowledge, capabilities, or experiences using those skills. Again, be genuine, be knowledgeable, and show your commitment to growth when you answer these types of questions. One of the best ways to answer interview questions is using the STAR-LA method. So we'll talk about each step in this method. For S, it stands for situation. So you want to describe the situation in which the event took place. T stands for task. Describe the task that you were asked to complete. A stands for action. Explain what action you took to complete the task or solve the problem. Results. R. Explain the result of your actions. L. Learning moment. How does it relate to your field or this particular position? The interview question. Application. How would you apply what you've learned to this position or this role? This is best for the situational or behavioral interview questions, so we'll look in more detail on the next slide. Let's look at some examples of typical interview questions and potential ways to answer them. Here's some typical interview questions that we'll spend some more time evaluating and understanding. Tell me about yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Tell me about a time you failed. Where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? Can you provide an example of a time where you had to work with a difficult team member? The majority of the time, the first question you'll be asked in an interview is tell me about yourself. Often it's a question that candidates struggle to answer. It's hard to understand exactly what to say and where to start and where to stop. So think about it this way. Another way of asking this question is, what brought you here? When trying to answer this question, think about the important parts of your academic and career journey that brought you to want to pursue this opportunity. Briefly share with the interviewers, what is your story? Do not recap your whole resume. You'll get a chance to elaborate on your resume experiences with additional questions later. Additionally, keep it professional. Don't elaborate too much on your personal hobbies or interests. You can include a fun personal fact, but share more about your professional story. To help get ready to answer this question, reflect on the following ideas. How have your studies and your experiences inspired you to pursue this opportunity? Why are you excited about this opportunity? Another tricky question for interviewers is the weakness and strengths questions. So let's break these down. What are your strengths? For the strengths, reflect on your skills, past experience, and personal attributes that have provided good results in your various roles and involvements. Be sure to share any strengths that are relevant or applicable to the job you're interviewing for and the requirements. It's always important to relate your answer back to the role or position. For the weaknesses section, think more about areas of improvement. Your response does not necessarily have to be something that you're bad at, but something that might require more effort on your part. You might be good at it, but not great. Think about areas of your development that's challenging for you. Also, be sure to state what you're actively doing to improve on that challenge. This shows self-awareness and a commitment to growth. For example, you might say that you're not good at multitasking, but you're working on it by using technology to make lists and prioritize what needs to be done first. And you've done research on a variety of tools that you can use to manage your tasks and your time. Tell me about a time you failed. This is a behavioral or situational question, so using the STARLA method will be more effective. In answering this question, try to be authentic, genuine, and portray your self-awareness and commitment to growth. Situation. First, describe the situation and what took place. Next, describe the task you were asked to complete. Then explain what action you took to complete the task. Explain the results of your actions. What did you learn about this experience? How did you grow from it? And how do you apply this lesson to the opportunity that you're applying for? Where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? For this question, they're trying to assess your career management and career planning. Remember, that's a key NACE career competencies for career readiness. To be able to answer this question, reflect on your career goals. Why have you chosen this field? Who do you want to help? The more specific you can be, the better. You can mention both personal and professional goals, but try to focus more on the professional. Include a detailed description of how the opportunity you're interviewing for today can help you achieve those goals. Can you provide me an example of a time where you had to work with a difficult team member? This is another situational or behavioral question, so using the STARLA method can be helpful. This question is assessing your teamwork and collaborative skills. Be sure to focus more on yourself and not the difficult team member when you answer this question. So describe the situation, the task you were asked to complete, Explain what action you took to complete the task or solve the problem. Explain the results of your actions. And then what did you learn about this experience and how you would apply this lesson to the position that you're applying for. As we mentioned earlier, there's a variety of ways that we can conduct an interview. There may be numerous rounds for an interview, and each round could have a different modality. It's important to be aware of the interview modality so you can prepare accordingly. When you have a phone interview, that's typically the first round and can be used as a screening process to determine which candidate moves to the next round of interviews. Some tips to prepare for the phone interview include ensuring you have the right time, so make sure to check the time zone, date, and phone number to contact. Be aware of those time zones for different states. Save the calendar for the date and time of your interview so you're ready. Ask the interviewer for the phone number that will be contacting you so you know in case you miss the call or you tend to avoid unknown callers. Make sure to be in a spot that is quiet, free from distractions, and has a good connection so your signal for your phone is strong. Feel free to have notes, but try to make sure that your conversation has a natural tone to it. For video interviews, they can be done in different ways with different software. Some employers may confirm your application by sending you a few interview questions ahead of time that you record yourself responding to. Video interviews can also be done synchronously using Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Skype, or any other video platform. You might be interacting with one person or a group of individuals. To prepare for the video interview, dress as if you're going to the interview in person, so wear business professional clothing. Reduce the clutter or distraction in the background. Ensure you have a good internet connection and try to reduce any noise or distractions like pets or roommates, and keep your interaction professional. For in-person interviews, these can typically be the final round. This is where an employer will invite their top candidates to the office to meet the team, meet the leadership, and view the office environment. In-person interviews can be very overwhelming, so let's break down some of the tips for what to do before, during, and after the interview. Before the interview, the day of the interview, allow yourself plenty of travel time. Give yourself an extra 15 to 20 minutes so you arrive early, but don't show up too much earlier. Go to the interview with copies of your resume, a business pad, folio, and a pen. The interview process starts as soon as you walk into the building, so be mindful of the impression that you're making on other people, everyone you interact with during that time. During the interview, make sure to smile and be personable. Make eye contact, speak slowly and distinctly. Provide 2 to 3 strong questions that you want to ask about the employer or the organization. You can ask things about the company culture, the values. You can ask the interview panel about their own career. Get contact information for the people you meet using business cards or through LinkedIn. After the interview, make sure to make notes about some of the key points of the interview and follow up after the interview through email to thank the interviewers for the opportunity. In your thank you email, relate the interview conversation to your thoughts about the position and reiterate your interest in the role. Interviews can be an exciting experience as you're one step closer to landing the job. Preparation and practice are key to your success in the interview. Make sure you prepare well. Know your audience, the roles the individuals have, and the company. Particularly, you need to know about the position that you're applying for and the criteria of what they're looking for. Follow up by email afterwards to express your gratitude and interest in the role. Be adaptable and flexible about where and when you might be needed or what might be asked of you while you're interviewing. Additionally, there's lots of resources available through the USF Center for Career and Professional Development to look at practice questions and learn more about the interview process. So we encourage you to take a look at additional materials on this topic.